Do you want to delve daringly into the dense labyrinth of my thoughts and discover the dazzling diorama of images dancing from the depths of my mind? Hark! For this week, we are going to harmoniously harness the heartbeat of Holy Man's inspirations, weaving them into a heartfelt heavenly harmony. What is up, seekers of extraordinary stories? How you doing? If you're in Texas, boy howdy, it's a lot cooler here and I'm happy because that means we're outside. Yay. If you're new here, why don't you subscribe because we are doing weekly videos about Holy Man, the story, and its inspirations. And you don't want to miss it.
You really don't.
This week we are talking about my inspirations. And since there are a lot of inspirations that have inspired me to do a lot of inspiring things, we're gonna just start with the literary realm, particularly the enchanting realm of fantasy, which had a profound impact on igniting my creative spark. We have a lot of material to cover in this section, so we're gonna be splitting this video up into part 1 and part 2. Are you ready to dig in? Let's go. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings is where my journey begins. These classics hold a special place in my heart because they were my mom's cherished copies. She had these old paperback versions and they were old and faded, and I always remember looking on the bookshelf and seeing them and I was like, oh, these are so cool. And so when I was around 9, my mom saw that I had an insatiable curiosity and imagination and decided I was ready for these epic tales. And to be honest, I probably didn't understand half of the words that were in there, especially because it was written a while back, but that didn't dim my enthusiasm. I distinctly remember being drawn into this serene yet fantastical world that Tolkien created. From Gandalf's magic to all the different creatures, the armor, the swords, the languages, and of course the dragon at the end. What little kid doesn't like dragons? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It was a world steeped in rich history. And even at that age, it didn't come across to me as campy, even though I didn't even know what campy was yet. It felt like a glimpse into the adulthood that I was meant to grow up into. But again, what made this so special was the fact that it began with my mom. She was really my guiding star when it came to understanding and experiencing emotions, processing my thoughts, and nurturing my creativity. This connection to her through these books is deeply cherished. I love you, Mommy. I love you. I love you. After diving headfirst into The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, I found myself thirsting for more fantasy adventures. Turning to my mom, I eagerly sought her guidance for my next fantasy adventure. She gave me one of the Dragon Riders of Pern series, which was kind of cool, but it didn't have that vast, big, ancient feel that enraptured me with Tolkien's works. So she passed on another book to me called The Eye of the World, which was the first book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. These books were awesome, but they are a staggering at least 900 pages long. Some of them are up to 1,200 pages. They are, do I have mine? Look, I got one of them. I should have had all of the books. That would have been smart. Yeah, they're huge. Look at this thing. How long was Winter's Heart? Oh, this one was short. This one's only 600. Hold on, let me show you the map. The maps were always so sick. So it's very similar to Lord of the Rings. A little bit of crossover, right? High fantasy, that's where Jordan was inspired, but the difference between these books is where Tolkien really leaned into the imagination and left the picturing of the scenes, the looks to the reader. Robert Jordan, he wanted you to know every single detail, smell, sight, sound that the characters were feeling. So that's why they're so big. It's so dense, he puts in so much detail and so much character work. The end of this book is awesome. It's one of my favorites. Amazon is adapting a TV show for Wheel of Time, so watch it. Watch it. It's so good. It's so good. Way better than Rings of Power, okay? Rings of Power is cool. This is better. Watch it. The first season was good. They laid the foundation. The second season just started coming out, and it's so much tighter. The characters, they nailed the characters. And the third season got greenlit, and they have a bigger budget. So let's keep it going. We want to see this finished because it's probably going to be the only adaptation of this book series for like 20 to 30 years. Watch it. It's awesome. Now, there are 14 books in this series, and there's like 50 main characters. It's crazy how big and sprawling this adventure is. Tragically, Robert Jordan passed away before he could finish the book series, and he thought he was just on his last book. What ended up happening is another fantasy author, Brandon Sanderson, stepped in, and with Robert's wife, they finished it together, and what was going to be one book became 3 books. And it was beautiful reading it and hearing him try to recapture Robert's voice. Man, he did a great job. 3 volumes of this thing was epic. But the crowning achievement of the story was reading the last book. The whole book is one battle, right? It's the last battle, the final culmination of everything. And whereas in other last books, right, the final conflict is usually a few chapters and like 3 characters, or one person's over here, the other person's over here, the other person's over here. Because the cast of characters was so big and he spent 13 books developing all these stories, there were like 50 main characters all over the place in this one battle through this one long book. It was an amazing read. If you started it and you got, because it was so long, you petered out, I understand, but you should finish it. Jordan and Tolkien's expansive imaginary realms granted me the freedom to think outside the box and to transcend the boundaries of our sensory world. Magic and fantasy were like a mystical gateway connecting deeply with my early perception of the spiritual world, a place where I once believed that's where God resided. And so it helped me feel close to God when I read these stories. I felt kindred spirits with him. During this time, I dedicated tons of hours sketching, translating the vivid imagery that danced through my mind as I devoured their stories. Over time, this vibrant inspiration catalyzed me to begin creating my own characters in a fantastic world of my own. Within this realm, dragons soared, werewolves prowled, elves enchanted, and a feline-like race called the Silwan graced its landscapes. And it didn't end there. My imagination flowed ceaselessly, birthing diverse races, unique backstories for each character, all flowing through my pencil onto the page. It was during these times that my enduring passion for storytelling took root and blossomed. Well, that wraps it up for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed my younger literary fantasy inspiration for Holy Man. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when the next episode comes out. And what did you think? Put it in the comments. Let me know. Did you like some of these books? Have you read them? Until next time, where we follow up on some of the other books that I've really enjoyed, I will see you seekers of extraordinary stories on Instagram.